the weeping lasted all night, I know that joy comes in the morning light. So I march on to a new song, 'cause I've been marching to that old one way too long. And I gotta move on and take new steps every day, 'cause I know there is got to be another way. And I'm brighter today, so I march on.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Pure Live. I'm so excited about today's topic. We're going to get real today about the very sensitive topic because people seem to be afraid to talk about it. So we're going to deal with it. We're going to dig into it. But before we do that, we are going to have a word from our sponsors.
In a recent service, Pastor Dan asked if anyone felt disconnected, not apart, all by yourself, alone, or on your own. Realizing that every day, too many people in our community and even in our churches feel disconnected. In our CFC Life Group, we want to let people know that they belong. That's the most important reasons that we have life groups. And now we've added an online community access. With social media fellowship, we consider that connecting people can be messy. Sometimes we have real challenges such as schedule conflicts, transportation and mobility issues, as well as just feeling too tired to travel. We purposefully schedule our life group sessions to explore life application of the message with a discussion among friends. This online life group is hosted by Drs. Aaron and Margaret Jamal, who truly enjoy exploring life in God's Word. So we invite you to belong. Join the newly launched CFC online life group today.
All right, that was lovely. And they really do have some really, really great talks. And we cannot forget Posh Women's Apparel. You guys know I rock with these people. Yes, I do. Their clothes are lovely. And I am wearing some of their apparel today. Here's a picture. I'm rocking some new pants. Yes, I am. And you guys will see me in some new stuff next week. So if you want to wear some clothes like mine, go to this site right here, www.poshwomensapparel.com. All right. All right. Now, let me introduce to you all my guests. What is up, Chi-Town?
How are you? How are you?
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Not a problem. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
This is great. So this, I would say for my listeners, for my viewers, this is probably the most controversial topic that we've handled.
Oh, really?
Hey, your bro's in the chat.
Hey, brother. What's up, bro? See, I'm repping the Hungry Hustle Apparel.
Okay. Speaking of which, boom. What? This is what
All
she
custom,
does.
anything you need. Hats, shirts, masks, the whole nine.
As you see right here, Instagram and Facebook at Hungry Hustle Official. If you want to get at her and get some of this fly gear, this is where you go.
Follow me. Follow me. I do giveaways.
Well, amen. Can you give away some things to me? No,
Hey,
for
I'll
real.
send you some stuff. Actually, check it out. My girlfriend does lashes. I don't know if you can see.
I can't really see it. It's like I see it better from there, sort of.
Yeah.
But okay.
It's a bright light over here, but yeah. So we'll get you something sent out if that's your thing. You know, we cover all bases. Beauty for the ladies, custom apparel for ladies, men, children, onesies, banners, labels, anything you need. One-stop shop.
Well, that's what's up. We're gonna connect after this.
Okay, for sure. Let's do it.
Right. And I will be selling some things soon, also, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll let you know when the store is open for business.
Let's stock it.
All
up.
right. We're gonna do this. Let's get into it. All right. So what are we talking about today? Well, we are talking about sexual liberation and what does it mean? So check it out. I actually looked it up and got a full-blown definition from the Urban Dictionary. And this is what it says. According to the Urban Dictionary, to be sexually liberated is the ideology of one shamelessly and often satisfying their sexual needs and desires without the burden of guilt or the judgment of established morally correct societal mores. So, that was a mouthful. What is your definition of sexual liberation?
To me, it's just being able to be free, to be you, to express yourself and what might be a little taboo for some, but being able to just be free to express yourself sexually, whether that is provocative pictures or just the way that you sexually live your sexual encounters. Safe, of course. Always advocate for safe. But yeah, just being able to be open, be free, be yourself.
Okay. So I have some questions. Some questions you know about, some you may not.
Okay.
And here's what I guess what made me want to really talk about this. Mm-hmm. So take a look at this. I have to blur that out. Okay. Now we have blur it out. Yeah. So we have a group over here that's, a bit on the raunchy side, I guess you would say. And then a group over here that's showing, they're sexy without the raunch. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And everybody is different. Everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. But when they are asked about, why they decide to go the route of the women on the right, a lot of times I'm hearing the words sexual liberation. They're sexually liberated. So here is my question. Mm-hmm. Why does it have to be on display? Because in the definition I'm seeing, I didn't see anything about it being like on blast. It's just like you do you how you want to do you. Why is it on display like that?
I honestly think that just in the world that we live in right now, everything is on display. We're Facebooking, tweeting, Instagramming, everything, our entire lives. Hey, stopped at the Circle K, got a pop, out to dinner with my friends. Checking in all your locations. I think everything is just documented. So I think we're just kind of seeing it more. Excuse me. I think we're just seeing it more than back in our day when things were on Polaroid and you had to go over to your friend's house to see the pictures. It wasn't just a quick text message. Who's that? Who's JP?
I have no idea.
JP, we got the lashes. Hit me up Instagram or Facebook at Hungry Hustle Official, and I'll plug you over to Juicy Beauty Bundles for sure. We got you. But yeah, I think we're just seeing it more.
That's an interesting statement, Norman. But woman has multiple kids from multiple baby daddies and vice versa. That's putting it on display. Is it? I kind of disagree. And the reason I disagree is because the only way that you're going to know for sure that that's the case is if that person tells you.
Right.
You don't really know.
It's not,
That's
and it might be putting it on display. I don't think if it is that, it's intentional.
right.
It's not
Yeah,
intentional, you know. I think there's
right.
intentional ways of putting it on display, and then there's unintentional ways. I think that would fall more under that category.
Okay. So, but okay. So I feel like the whole sexual liberation situation, the movement, whatever, it appears that it's being brought up more and more amongst the female community right now. Why do you
Yeah.
think it's such a hot topic right now?
I think we've had a few women in the media recently drop some people will call gems, other people will call bombs, you know, on the world, whether it be music videos. So I think whenever there's something that's kind of shocking, you know, like think back to when Janet Jackson was on the Super Bowl, um, the Super Bowl show a couple of years ago. Who was
Mm-hmm.
it? Was it Shakira? I can't even remember.
What? Well, I don't know.
But
That she was
huh?
with, that
Shakira
Janet
and
was on
J Lo.
there.
That was it. Yeah. Think about
Oh,
how
so
that
that
was so overly sexualized, and
right.
so I think when it's just something hot, they jump on it. I don't know if it's just the bandwagon or if it's just topic of discussion, but I mean, I think it's something that definitely should be discussed.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm still trying to understand what it's meaning to people. So, um, some people feel like artists like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj are some representations of showing forms of sexual liberation. Do you agree with this assessment?
Um, it's kind of hard to say because you really don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It could just be they like their style. It could just be something for the moment. But I mean, it definitely could be perceived that way.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. I'm still struggling with this. Okay, so do you feel that they are being, well, let's just say this. Videos that are out right now, I don't want to say the name of the videos because I don't necessarily want to lead people to the videos,
Okay.
but we know a certain popular video that is out right now in regards to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B.
Right.
We know there are other videos that have had a lot of body showing in there, like Nicki Minaj and other individuals.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, do you feel like maybe that they are being a little irresponsible or going too far with their displays of sexuality, knowing that young girls are looking up to them?
You know, no, I don't think that, and the reason why is because I think there's an audience for everything, right? So
Okay.
if there's 7-year-olds watching these videos, then that's a topic for another show. We're not going to go there. It shouldn't be happening. Okay. There's parental controls, things of that nature, so that kids, you know, don't have to see that side of what's going on. Right. Unfortunately, in this day and age, that's not happening. Kids have cell phones, tablets, free reign of the internet, social media accounts, TikTok, where they get
Mhm.
to actually act out the videos. You know what I mean? So it's just a much different world now. So I
Right.
don't think, no, they should closet themselves in the way that they feel and the way they want to express themselves, or any woman for that matter, or man. Um, I don't think they should closet themselves to parent for, you know, the children. They're to be
Hmm.
role models to be looked up to as, you know, successful women. But I don't think that should take away from who they are as a person.
Okay. I can feel that. But where do you think that some of this influence came from in regards to these artists? Do you feel that maybe the male artists before them influence their very bold displays of sexuality in regards to the things that they rapped about and things that they seem to ask for in their music?
I mean, No, I
No?
think
Where do you
honestly,
think it came from?
it comes from just like I said, self-expression. I
Mm.
don't think there should be blame placed on, oh, the men are making the women act like that. Maybe this is just how the women want to act, you know? No fault to the man, no fault to the woman. No fault to the, the society. It's just different views, of different people.
Mm.
I didn't even read that. Can you put that back up? It was
Yeah. So Norman said we have to stop the mentality that we have to be everything for everyone. Ball out and say what you want, parent your kids, and prepare them for the real world. So I do agree with you. You can't be everything for everyone. I do agree that parents need to do better at controlling what they can. But as a parent myself, I gotta say that is not as easy as it sounds. Parental controls are not. My children go to school. So whatever it is that those other kids are exposed to have exposed my children to those things. And I had no control over that whatsoever. There was nothing I could do about it. Once the damage is done, it's done. I've had my kids come back and ask me about things that I'm just like, why do you know to
who
ask
told
this
you that?
question?
Who told you? That's the
Right.
first question. Who told you
Who
that?
said this mess to you?
I'm calling
I
some
am not
parents
ready
tonight.
to have this talk. I'm
Yeah.
not ready to have this talk.
Right.
And so it's like, yes, it is not the job of the performers to be the parents. It is not the job of the performers to make sure that they are being great role models to your children, so to speak. However, I do think it would be kind of naive to assume that there aren't little girls watching them
I mean,
because
no, I think they know that there's little girls watching them, but at
mm,
what point do you take away from the artistic freedom,
mm,
from a person being able to express themselves?
mm,
Where some people might see it as raunchy, to them it might be artsy. You know what I mean? Some things are just not for children to see, to know, to understand. And I know things are beyond parents' control, but when they were making this popular song that we're not going to talk about, that
right.
just recently came out, I'm sure they weren't sitting in the studio like, oh, maybe we shouldn't say this and maybe we shouldn't say that. I think it felt good for them to say exactly what they felt at that
Mm.
moment, no matter how anyone took it or what they thought about it. And I love that.
Okay, so let's roll with that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do not follow Cardi B, but what I do is I research,
Right.
so I come across all kinds of videos and things, social media and whatever. And Cardi B said that she tried to branch out and talk about something different with Be Careful With Me. Her song Be Careful With Me. She was talking about, be careful with her heart.
I
She
think
got
that song was just poorly written. I think it was just a bad song. I don't think it had anything to do with what she was talking about. I think that it was just a bad song.
maybe so,
Yeah.
but she said the feedback she got was that they didn't want to hear about that from her. They wanted to hear about that, the raunchy stuff, the sex. They want to
Because
hear.
that's her, though. That is her personality.
So here's my question then. Are they not allowed to change? Are they not allowed to evolve into something different?
No, evolve.
They have to stick to that stigma.
No, they can evolve, but I think if you're going to evolve and branch out from something so different than what everyone is used to you doing, you have to make sure it's fire. Unfortunately, like with that song, I think the song was just terrible. I don't think it mattered. Honestly, I don't think it mattered who was going to be on the song. I think it was poorly written. I think it didn't feel natural hearing it. It didn't blend well. It just wasn't, you know what I mean? So if you're going to step out the box, come with something where we're like, what? Okay. Something we can feel and also get to see the real you.
Okay, Norman asked me, why is it a stigma? I'm just calling it a stigma because that's how she says that she felt at the time. In the video that I watched, she felt like she was trapped into what she was saying was a stigma. You know, saying that I have to be to this, sex this, sex that, got to talk about, blank, 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 fill in the blanks. Um, and, uh, and so that's why I said it that way. Now, I'm going to ask something else that is going to be touchy. So I'm going to try to do it the best way possible. Please go with me on this and hear the full question.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm speaking to my viewers and listeners too. Okay. It has come to my attention that there are pedophiles that are attempting to add themselves to the protected class of the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
And they are saying that this is sexual liberation and that we are discriminating against them.
I think
So how do you what is your response to someone that says, well, just like you prefer to be with the same sex and you prefer to dress and drag, I prefer underage males or females?
well, first thing, we'll start off. Luckily, the gays and the lesbians and the LGBTQ plus community have made strides to make it so that at least here in the United States and many other places in the world, homosexuality is not illegal. That's first and foremost. Okay.
Mhm.
So for you to want to justify what you're doing, which is one, illegal, like you go to jail for that.
Yes.
I could walk down the street holding my girlfriend's hand and not be arrested for doing anything wrong. That's first and foremost. And to me, it's just, that isn't a stigma. That is just fact. It's just wrong, period. It's against the law, and it's wrong on so many levels. It's wrong because the mentality of a child doesn't understand the capacity of the things that are going on like a grown-up does. It's very predatory. You know what I mean? They're preying on someone who's weaker minded, weaker physically for some sick fantasy, you know? So no, they can't be a part of our community.
That you are not invited. Thank you.
Yeah, you are not invited. You know, we want everyone to be legal. When we're legal, please, let's keep it that way. We don't want, we don't want to accept anything like that. That is not sexual liberation. That is, can you bleep me out on YouTube?
No, this is live.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but to me, that's a bullshit excuse.
Okay.
To live out their sick fantasies. Pardon my French. I don't know if my family's watching. I'm sorry. But honestly, that's how I feel.
Okay, I'm going to address something Norman said. He says, I knew this was going to take an LGBTQ spin.
Let's spin it our way.
This is not about a spin. It's about addressing the whole thing. It would be unfair to not include everybody when we're talking about sexual liberation. Everybody is having sex, whether you are heterosexual or a part of the LGBTQ community, whatever you are, you know, all sides of this are affected in this conversation, period, point blank. So I would like you to help me, I guess, define what sexual liberation looks like. Is there a such thing as going too far in regards to displaying your sexual liberation?
Oh yeah. I think honestly, like, sexual liberation is to me a self thing. So for me to feel sexually liberated, I don't have to do it in the middle of a crowded area or posted, or I can very privately express my sexual liberation. Okay. But I think that some things are best done in private with people who know, understand, love, and accept you. And then there's always a time and a place, to turn heads and knock them dead,
So,
So,
okay, so let me ask you, and I'm going to put these pictures up again.
okay.
Forgive me for those that may be offended. Um, do you feel in any of these instances that any of them have crossed the line in regards to showing their sexual liberation?
No,
And
honestly, even the picture that you have blurred out, I think
Mhm.
is still kind of tasteful. So maybe
Really?
I'm just on the other end of the spectrum. I think because she's nude, people
Hmm.
instantly are like, oh my God. But I think that's a very classy, tasteful picture. I don't think, honestly, I think that was wonderfully shot, whoever's the photographer. I find beauty in everything from, the picture of Brandy fully clothed, you know what I mean, to someone
Hmm.
who's like, okay, this is my body, I'm gonna show it off. I think they're both beautiful.
Okay, so I'm confused again. Um, so there are boundaries, but I guess I'm not understanding your definition in regards
Because I
to.
think that was still tasteful. Like
Okay,
that
so
picture could have gone way too far.
what would be not tasteful?
That picture could have just gone way too far. It could have been, just legs gapped open, everything outspread, raunchy.
Mm,
You know what I mean. Like that would have been going
okay.
too far. I think that was kind of subtle. I think it was a subtle sexy, personally.
Hmm,
Yeah,
that's interesting. That's
yeah,
subtle.
yeah,
I'm scared. Okay.
yeah. That's a subtle sexy.
Um,
It could have been way worse. Trust me, it could have been way worse.
no, no, that I definitely believe you.
Yeah.
That's real. Yeah, I
Listen,
believe you
that's
on that. By the way, real quick, for those of you guys that are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. And if you're watching this on Facebook, follow me, like me. You're going to see some greatness. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you.
fully clothed greatness.
Yes, exactly. Hallelujah. Okay. So, and reminding people that might have just chimed in. The topic of today is sexual liberation. What does it mean? And the reason that I asked Chi-Town to be on the show is because I wanted a different point of view, on the other end of the spectrum, so to speak, because we're very, very different people.
Right.
We've had similar upbringings, but we're different people, and I want to be fair and have all sides addressed in this
Right.
conversation.
Let's do it.
So okay. Do you have kids?
Biological children, no, ma'am. I'm 31 years old. Never been married,
Mhm.
no children. I live a
Okay.
very quiet, very peaceful life.
Okay. Then nothing wrong with quiet and peace. Amen. I want some. Can we say it? All right.
Come get you some. Come get you some. I got the pack up and go lifestyle, Thank God. Yeah, no, I don't
Okay.
have any children. But hopefully one day I do plan. I gotta hurry up, but one day soon, for sure.
Okay. So let's pretend. Let's make believe.
Okay.
And let's say you got a little girl.
Hmm.
And of course, I know you have good morals. I know that you're a good loving person.
Hmm.
What kind of things do you think you would be guarding your little girl from in regards to what's being shown on the media, like the things that I've mentioned already?
I mean, I don't want to over shelter my children. And that might be why I don't have any yet, because they would be in little shells okay, where no one from the outside world could even touch them. But no, realistically and honestly, there's a lot of things that I feel like it is not a child's place. You know, the way we were raised, we didn't get to sit up and be under grown folk listening to grown folk business.
Right.
We barely could pass through the room. Like, hey, what are you doing? You know? So I think that old school mentality is very important. You know, we have to separate the children from the adults as much as we can, because eventually it's going to be impossible. They're going to go over to friends' houses and you know what I mean? But as long as you're in this house and with me and my friends, we're not going to be sitting up with my daughters and sons kikiing, talking about grown folk business. And that's just to start. That's just to start. Okay.
Hi, Margaret.
Hey, Auntie. But no, that's just the start. So even like as far as you know, just anything, you know, whether it's like if I had children, if I wanted to have a beer, I might put it in a cup as opposed to drinking it out the can. They don't need to see everything and know everything. You know what I mean? So when it comes to sexual stuff and things of sexual nature, I think there's an age for that. I think there's conversations that need to be had before that. And then I want my child to know that they can feel safe enough to come and talk to me without judgment. If they have any questions, ideas, if they've heard anything, want to try anything, they can come to me. We can sort it out. They're not going to get to do it, but we get to sort it out. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this then. At what point are you having that talk in regards to sexual liberation?
I think that is going to be based on maturity. I don't think you could put an age on that because I think all children are different. Like I always give the analogy, like my brother had to get whoopings, right? And my mom whipped me one time and she cried. It broke her heart, tore her to pieces. You know what I mean? Aww. So I think each child, even though we were raised in the same home by the same people, we needed different things. So I think that would have to be determined on the child, you know, on their exposure, on their curiosity. You can't say just at 12, because there's some 12-year-olds where that's not even on their mind. So why expose it to them earlier than need be? You just have to catch it. And that goes to getting to know your children. You have to catch it at the right moment when it's a teaching moment, something that can be received and not shoved down their throat. And I think just a relationship with your children will let you know when that time is right.
Okay. So with all the different things that we talked about. So first of all, we know that people have been talking about, rapping about, singing about sex forever. Okay. Like it's just been going on for a long time. Even if they were slick with it, you know, they still, you know, talk about it in some way or another. And some people would just flat out bold.
Oh yeah. We lived through that era.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm wondering is there a line that can be crossed when you can them saying, I'm just showing that I'm sexually liberated in every situation? Are there situations in the videos that are out there that they may be kind of crossing that line of going further than just showing that you're sexually liberated? And is there another way of making your points?
I mean, there's definitely other ways. There's causes and events and things that cater to that.
It's a question to me. I want you to finish your answer.
I was reading. I lost my train of thought.
You want
yeah, let's answer the question.
Okay, well, as a mother, my opinion. First of all, the whole sexual liberation talk is kind of new for me. And so I've been doing my own research to understand what they're actually saying is sexual liberation. Why is the conversation even necessary? And why are so many vulgar things being put on blast and they're labeling it as sexual liberation? As a mother, it concerned me because it's not like I don't know if y'all remember when we were younger, there were certain videos and things that were not allowed to be shown during a certain time, right?
BT
All
After
those
Dark. Yeah.
exactly. You know, we weren't on YouTube looking at all this stuff. We weren't catching this stuff on social media. It was like, okay, this stuff is showing up past our bedtime anyway, so we shouldn't be seeing this stuff.
Right.
There's no separation now, you know? So now I'm finding out that my children have been exposed to stuff that I wish they hadn't been exposed to. And it wasn't because I didn't put the parental controls on. It wasn't because we didn't have a talk. It wasn't because I allowed it. All of their friends got phones, tablets, and what have you at school. And like, check this out. Oh, did you see this? Look at how she, I mean, the way that my son's friends are talking to them, it's like, how do I? Oh, okay. Let me get to that. It's how do I guard my children? Because, like you said, you wouldn't have that talk with your children till you felt they were ready.
Right.
But I'm getting, it's just hitting me on all sides, and it's like I have to be ready regardless. My youngest child is 10 years old, and I kid you not, like 5 years ago is the first time she's talking to me about sex because of things she's hearing from her fellow students. What in the world?
Yeah. I mean, that is crazy. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't
I
imagine. That's when homeschooling would begin. Because,
yeah,
no, I mean, that's crazy. At that age, I wanted to just play outside, like for
yeah,
as long as I could,
yeah. That's it.
that was it. That was it.
No
So,
talk about sex. We weren't talking about sex. I didn't think about sex.
yeah,
What
yeah.
is that? You know? So, and dealing with Reverend Margaret's question, back to the children, right? It says it used to be considered porn. What changed? I want to know the same thing. What changed?
I mean, if you look at a Playboy from 1960.
You don't even gotta go that far back.
Well, I say 1960 because the big sexual liberation movement with feminism and all that was from 60 to 80. So that was when that was like the free love movement, and that was when all that was really happening. So if you go back to pre that to post that, I think that's what changed. I think the stigma's changed. And I do think that there is still some stuff that is what I would consider to be soft porn, for sure.
Yeah.
That is out. And that's why I think, that there's a line, like I say, where, for an adult, that's fine. If they want to watch soft porn music videos, that's fine. To the children, no, that shouldn't be allowed. And you have to just do all you can to make sure that they're not exposed. And if they are exposed, that they understand. And again, like I said, just be open to where they can talk to you. It's a different day and age. Everything, the phones and the technology, and
Yeah. Norman said he wants her to. He wants.
Well, yeah. I mean, we could definitely expound on it. But yeah, I mean, I think some things.
Go ahead.
Some things definitely were that were labeled as raunchy back in the day weren't. When you think about it, women back then had to wear bathing suits that were pants, capris. That was normal. Capris and a whole shirt, that was a bathing suit, and the men had on Speedos, and it was okay. So I think it's different when it's women, unfortunately.
Yes, it is different with women, but I don't know what day period you talk. That's way back the day because even Elizabeth
That's
Taylor
pre-sexual liberation. That was before the sexual liberation.
that's
Yeah,
that's before Elizabeth Taylor. That's before because
hey,
even they were wearing, they were showing leg and stuff. But
right.
Marilyn Monroe, they were showing leg and stuff by then.
At one
But
point, we couldn't even wear pants. So I mean, if we want to take our pants off now, I mean, we made it. We could do that as long as we're doing it for adults and not a children's audience. I mean, I wouldn't want to see Cardi B performing at the Nickelodeon Awards. You know what I mean? The Disney
right.
Awards. But if she comes to the BET Awards, I can get with that.
Right. Yeah, she said, just like Sarah said, Playboy magazine was for adults only. And I think that's also part of my issue. It's like everything's out there. And the filter with the radio is like becoming less and less and less. I mean, I think the only word I haven't heard in the song so far is, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. They say everything else.
But think back to when we were kids and watching, like the CW or whatever, Family Matters and all that. They couldn't even say damn, really. Like when they started saying damn and ass, we were like, oh my God,
Yeah.
knowing that at a, we hear more than that, on a daily, not on a daily basis, because my parents didn't curse around us, but you know what I mean. But that was like, oh my God, so taboo.
Now school age children are being subjected to more than that in music videos. Yeah.
No music videos for the school age children. Let's start a petition. But I still want to be able to watch it. Why can't I watch it? Because some 10-year-old want to watch it. Dang. Take the 10-year-old's phone. To get some books.
Hey, you know what I really think though? I feel like, and I know children are going to find ways around certain things or whatever, but like I heard that there's like a way, so maybe this wouldn't work either, never mind. But I was gonna say, like I think that there's some kind of way that they try to keep children from being able to be on porn sites to prove that they're 18 or older. And I don't know if it's I've been informed that it is regarding credit cards. So I guess that really wouldn't work because some children have them. But I feel like, at least these videos should have ratings.
Oh, they're all rated R for the most part, like, or TVMA, or for a mature audience, like parental advisory. Like, what else do you want them to do to tell you parental advisory? Like, this is not for your children. You know what I mean? Even if that means that you can't necessarily listen to it, in the kitchen while you and your babies are cooking dinner. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe once the babies go to sleep, you can go cut it on, but there's a time and a place for everything. But it says parental advisory. It'll even tell you on YouTube. You don't see it because you are over 18. So when you go to certain things on YouTube, it just lets you do it. But if you go to a YouTube on a device that you're not logged in on, you'll have to prove you're 18 to be able to see certain content. Not even just sexual, just anything that YouTube deemed to be 18 and older.
That's an interesting question. Would you consider Marilyn Monroe a trailblazer for sexual liberation?
That is a good question.
I kind of feel like yes, because she was considered like the poster child for this. It was like, Marilyn Monroe, you mention her name and it's taboo. It's like, well, how she was out there. She was, so, yeah, maybe so. What, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I can't necessarily say a trailblazer. I'd have to do a little bit more research. But what I will say is she was a front runner for it for a lot of women. And that she was able to use her platform to display what so many other women were feeling suppressed by. So whether or not she was a trailblazer, I'd have to really look up her involvement in the entire movement to be able to answer that question truthfully. But I do think she was the poster child for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She definitely, was a little bit ahead of her times when it, came to that.
Okay. Norman says, subjected, where are the parents and their responsibility? I feel like I answered this, but like I explained, as a parent myself, I have rules. I have guidelines. I have all kinds of restrictions. I mean, I can look and see every website, everything that these children go on. I know because it drives my son nuts sometimes. I can see everything. Me because I'm able to put these special apps and stuff on there. They're not getting this stuff from us. So you're saying, where's the responsibility of the parents? But if you're a parent like me who has children that go to school, I have no control over what those children and those people are exposing my children to. I cannot be with my child every moment of the day. It is impossible. I have a job. I have to work,
All you can do is teach your children and hope that they know.
Right.
To, one, make their own decisions, to not be followers of their friends. If they see something, ask. I mean, that's really all you can do when it comes to the children.
Yeah. Parents are not as vocal and are often complicit. I completely agree with you because I remember when I was younger listening to the radio, and I think it was I don't remember what word slipped through on the radio station, but I know that like parents were calling and flipping out. I know what is his name? Howard Stern. He had been moved to different networks and stuff like that because of parents calling and complaining. There are so many situations that I heard of. Their parents were completely outraged. They would, call these networks, send in letters. They were not having it. They're like, you need to take this stuff down. How dare you expose my children? This is during the time that children are listening to the radio. This is during the time that children are watching TV. Why are you being irresponsible? I mean, going in. So, I agree, with her in saying that the outrage just really isn't there anymore. And, parents have to be a good example. But, there, I feel like the time period that we're in right now is like you have to be careful about what you say, what you complain about, and voicing your concerns because you get attacked. Why? Because you get accused of being prejudiced or biased, or you're not respecting freedom of speech, or you're not respecting some kind of right that people think that they have. And people are doing that more and more today. And so it's like, what's left to say? What's left to do? What do? You call the radio station and you, hey, my children are listening during this time. Why are you playing, this song? And why are you doing it? And they're like, because it's making us money. What do you have to say about it? Like nobody cares. I feel like nobody cares. I really do. I feel like they just, at this point, it's like, no, we got freedom of speech. No, we can say what we want to say. Our own president.
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. We talk about that.
You think that the parents are afraid to talk to their children, but I don't know. I wouldn't say that the parents are afraid. I say it's uncomfortable. And for myself, um, I don't want to take them to a place that they're not ready to go to. So it's like you got to be calculated about it. It's like, okay, I recognize that my child needs a conversation, but how deep should this conversation go? How should this go? Am I speaking to them the right way? Am I putting them in the right direction, or did I just make it worse? So I don't think it's necessarily fear, so to speak. It's just a lot of discomfort. Like, how do I do this the right way? That's my opinion. Um, oh, Fire Jamal, not if it includes waiting until marriage and fits heteronormative standards.
See,
I
lucky
don't
for me,
understand.
I don't have children.
I don't understand your response, Norman. I think you have to kind of expound on that. I don't understand that response being to that question. I don't get it.
I think he's saying, as far as if parents are afraid to talk to their kids about sex, he's saying, I guess, not if, in his instance, not if it, he wouldn't talk to him if it was displaying those things, he said. I can't remember the exact wording, but.
Okay, so what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, Norman. Go ahead and leave it in the comments. You're saying that in your experience, that the sex talk was wait until you're married, and sex is between a man and a woman, and that's pretty much the extent of your sex talk. Is that what you're saying? Let me know if that's correct. Because if that's the case, that's probably the average of what was going down during our upbringing and before.
I don't really remember a specific sex talk.
I don't remember having a specific sex talk either, to be perfectly honest with you. Only thing that I remember hearing is what was taught to us in church.
Exactly. Or in school, because back then we actually had sexual education.
Yes, we did have
class. Yeah.
Right. That's true. We did have sexual education in class.
Yeah.
So I guess in that perspective, I do feel like I was not prepared for the world and that aspect, because there wasn't a real sex talk. I was taught I was taught abstinence. I was taught, wait till you're married. Okay. But the problem with leaving it at that is like, okay, oops, I did it. Now what?
Right. Right.
Like
do you keep doing it, or do you just do it one time and never do it again until you get married, or does it matter now because you've already done it? Do it as much as you want.
Well, and the thing is, it's just like we tell our kids. Now I think she's being funny. She said, "Wait until you're 60."
By then it'll be almost too late. Too late by then.
I don't know. I heard some things.
Listen, in my mind, 60.
But okay.
In my mind, that's done. That is finished.
Okay. But here's the thing. We tell our children not to do stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay. I said, don't touch the stove. It is hot. You will burn yourself. Don't touch stove. It's hot. Right? Mm-hmm. But if we only said, don't touch the stove, you're like,
why not?
Why not? Go touch the stove. I burned myself.
Right. At least you can say, well, I told you it was hot.
I told you not to do it, but you didn't tell me what would happen.
Right.
You know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. It's another comment. I believe framing moral codes and educating our children is not the same. Knowing what is right and wrong should not be up to the media to define. I agree that it shouldn't be up to the media to define. However, the conversation very much so is in the media. So we, as the ones that are raising the children, we got to be the good examples, as Reverend Margaret Jamal said earlier, Reverend Dr. Margaret Jamal. And Mom said, "Who is the stove?" What? Of all the things to ask, she said, "Who's the stove?"
In 2020, you don't know.
Right.
You don't know who the stove is.
Who is the stove? No. But I do feel like, because we have to face the reality, and we are getting to the end of the show. This is some really good conversation, and I totally thank you and appreciate you for being on the show.
I'm glad we got to. We haven't talked in so long. This is good.
We have here. This is excellent.
I love that. Yeah.
Y'all don't know. It's been a minute since that's my cousin. That's
okay.
my first cousin. The crew. You know.
Okay.
You ain't come to these games. Okay, but
MC12. Mercer Crew.
Okay, but getting on time. So I think the bottom line in regards to this whole conversation, one, we have to realize that we are in a different time, and recognizing that we're in a different time period, and that children have more access to things that we didn't have access to before. I think our talks are going to have to be more in depth than the talks that we had when we were young, because there's too much.
Yeah, got to cover a lot of bases.
Oh, she said you look good, and she says miss you.
Miss you too, Auntie. Maybe when things get back to normal, we can all get together. We need to have a reunion or something.
We need
get everybody together. The babies are grown now with babies. Can you believe it?
I know.
We got to get together.
Lord. But as I was saying, because everything is so different from when we were growing up, we're going to have more in-depth talks with our children. Maybe the time is not at like 2, 3, 4, 5, but I feel, it is my opinion, and I know, maturity does play a role in when you speak to the children, but I do feel that due to the exposure that we have no control over, it's, he said, normal, what is that? You're distracting me. You said when things get back to normal. What is that? I feel from the point of junior high on up, those discussions need to be had, because the exposure is there. We can't stop them anymore. I mean, unless you are going to make it so that there is, and you cannot have them not exposed to the internet, because now with schools, it is a requirement for them to be on the internet. They make them do certain assignments on the internet. So you can't be one of those unless you're going to homeschool your children, which I don't know what kind of bank you rolling with, but I need to work. So they are exposed. We cannot change the fact that they're going to be exposed to these things. So what needs to happen now is we need to have the conversations. It is up to each individual home as to what it is that you feel is your moral boundaries, or what it is that is right and what is wrong. I cannot dictate to every household how to run things the way they run things. All I can say is what I do. I've made it very clear that I'm a Christian. I run my life based off of the Bible as I can. I am so far from perfect, it ain't funny. but I try my best, and I try to teach my children, the best way that I can so they grow up to be good kids. And so far, they're doing pretty good.
They better,
But
because they don't want to meet
okay,
Auntie
they're gonna get
Chi-Town
a
come
small quarter.
flying. Keep it in
But
line.
yeah, it's up to us, you guys. And even if you don't have children, if you are an aunt, if you're an uncle, if you are a cousin or whatever of some children, you're part of this too. You're in part of the influencing. So we all have to do our part, in making those standards and saying what's what, and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, when is it appropriate, if it's appropriate, and things like that. That's how I feel. Do you agree, disagree? What you say, Shai?
I mean, yeah, definitely. You have to talk to your kids. I am so glad, honestly, in this day and age, that I don't have any children yet. I think God knew I needed a little bit more wisdom before. Because it has to be hard.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna consider just going off grid. Once there's children involved, we're just gonna be in the woods somewhere, churning butter and milking cows, and but no, on the real tip, I think it's very important. You have to be a role model, to especially to the people who are nearest around you. Like, I wouldn't bring my sexual liberations to Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. But if I do have little cousins who are on my Facebook, unfriend me now, because I speak my mind and I do what I want to do. My page is for 18 and up only. Love you guys to death. My Instagram is private for that reason. Because when I do want to be liberated, even if it's not sexually, if I just want to be grown, I want to be able to do that without the eyes of children glaring down on me, dissecting me and soaking me in like a sponge. You know what I mean? So definitely, all my cousins, love you to death. Just go to my page, hit that unfriend, block.
So, we passed time. Remember, again, Hungry Hustle.
Hungry Hustle Official on Instagram and on Facebook. Contact me for all your apparel needs. I do custom. I have my own line as well. So hopefully we can all connect. Oh, of
yes,
course.
Indeed.
And the Juicy Beauty bundles. Okay, so y'all contact me. I'll get you in contact for all your lashes, all your beauty needs, lip gloss, hair, everything. Stay tuned.
She just has everything.
Everything.
So, and you can see all of my information. It has been streaming for a minute because I want you to soak that in. And if you're watching this, then you already have some of it. So what does that mean? That means follow and subscribe. Boom. Do it now. You want to right now. Thank you. Appreciate you. I love you. Thank you, Norman. It's a great show.
Love you, brother.
Yeah. Y'all got too much. This is the end of the show. Okay. Look. Okay. One more comment. Kind of like teaching how to drive. You don't train them on the Dan Ryan. You take them to a parking lot where there is less traffic and more safety.
You're training them on the Dan Ryan. You trying to get a new car because it's going to be total. But they're done.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I'm not going to stop it yet. There's one more question for you.
Yes, Auntie. I think we're friends on Facebook now. I'll reach out to you and I'll put you in contact with Juicy Beauty Bundles.
Yay. Awesome. This was great. This was excellent. Thank you so much for being on the show. I love you.
Love you lots. Thanks for having me.
So everybody, remember to appreciate God's perfect design, which is you. Until next time, Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Every Friday, be here. You know where to be. You be right here. You be right here. 9 p.m. Holla at y'all later. Good night. Good night. Good night. Goofy.